Hi guys, welcome back to Vedic Astrology. Today we are going to be talking about the October monthly reading. And in this video we are going to talk about some of the key dates which will be, depicting the transits of the planets into your respective signs and houses. And based on that we are going to analyze as to what sort of an impact you are going to see through the course of this month. So without further ado, let's quickly jump into the key dates that are going to come into play. Now, guys, as you can see on your screen here, Sun is going to be in the sign of Virgo until October 16th. And from October 17th onwards, it is going to be coming into its sign of debilitation in Libra. Mercury is already in the sign of Libra from October 2nd onwards, and it will move into the sign of Scorpio from October 24th onwards. So it's going to see, a dual shift in this month. Then you have Venus, which is sitting in the sign of Leo until October 8th. And then from October 9th onwards, it will also move into its sign of debilitation in the sign of Virgo. Mars is in Libra until October 26th. And from October 27th onwards, Mars will be moving into its own sign of Scorpio. So that's a great movement which is coming into play for you guys. Then you have Jupiter in the sign of Gemini until October 17th. And then comes the big change where Jupiter moves into its sign of exaltation from October 18th onwards. So you see, Sun is coming into its debilitation, Venus is coming into its debilitation, Mars, on the other hand, is coming to its own sign whilst Jupiter is coming into exaltation. So, pretty important movements as we can see through the course of this month, with Saturn continuing in the sign of Pisces. But it's important to know that in its retrograde motion, it is now going to be moving into the Purv Bhadrapada Nakshatra in the sign of Pisces itself. Then you have Rahu in Purv Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Again, both Rahu and Saturn happen to be in the same nakshatra. It is ruled by Jupiter. And this is going to be interesting because Saturn's retrograde movement is bringing it much closer to Rahu at this point in time through the course of this month, whilst Ketu continues in its Purva Falguni Nakshatra, that of Venus itself in the sign of Leo. All right, Capricorn, as you guys can see on your screen here, you have your Lagna Lord who is placed in the third house and has been in the deepest retrogression since the month of September, and he is going to continue in that mode in the month of October as well. His retrogression is going to decrease as we follow week over week, and by November, it is going to come in a stationary mode as well. But until then, what you're going to realize is that there is still going to be an impetus in towards your family, towards your wealth, towards your food and diet, towards what you want to do for your immediate vicinity of near and dear ones. Rahu is sitting in its own sign there in the sign of Aquarius, and Saturn's impact is also coming into picture. There could also be a situation where you feel withdrawn from putting in more effort. There could be some bit of pullback from your side in terms of not putting enough hard work. And still, I can very confidently say, Capricorns, that you guys are a sign who, if not even putting enough hard work, would be putting in more than any of the other signs for that matter. So it's still going to be a crucial bit. Saturn has changed its nakshatra from 3rd of October. He is going to be coming into Jupiter's nakshatra, and it is crucial for you to understand that because Jupiter is going to be coming into its sign of exaltation from 18th of October, which is one of the biggest transit coming into play. But at this point in time, Saturn sitting in retrograde motion there, being your first and your second lord, and in the third house, it's not at all a bad placement. It's a good movement of Saturn for you folks. He is giving an aspect towards your fifth house, a retrograded aspect though. So Capricorns, this is not the most conducive period for you to plan for your kids or maybe expand on your relationships, your romantic life and pursuits. Even things from a speculative investment strategies perspective might backfire for you because Venus is coming in conjunction with Ketu, and he's later coming into debilitation. We'll talk about that more, but I would want you to be careful in terms of how you go about strategizing your investments. Being speculative, taking unnecessary risks might not be the case even in the month of October. In fact, all the way throughout this retrogression till 27th of November, I will say that please be cautious on that front. This is going to be a time where you might feel some unexpected withdrawal, coldness from your loved one, from your romantic relationships perspective. And to a certain extent, as I said, that there could be a drop in terms of hard work, which might result that for students watching this video, there might not be enough impetus, there might not be enough interest for you to continue to push through your education, your your studies and stuff. So I know you will bounce back. That period will come in November, but try and remain as consistent as possible. Saturn is giving a retrograded aspect to your ninth house as well. Avoid any kind of risky, argumentative situations with your bosses, superiors. Sun is bang opposite to it, being the eighth lord in your ninth house. So it can be detrimental for you from that perspective, as well as your relationship with your father, guru, mentors, teachers, bosses, superiors at workplace. Remember, this is going to be a crucial period with respect to the health as well for your father, for your elderly in the home. So do take care of in terms of precautions as to what you need to do from their health standpoint as well. Now Saturn from there is giving a retrograded aspect towards your 12th house. It is going to bring in certain degree of gains. He is giving an impact towards your second and towards your 11th, so that's a positive sign. Even though there could be some lack of interest, you will still be putting in the right efforts from your side of things. Then you have Rahu sitting in your second house. He's giving an aspect towards your sixth, eighth, and 10th. That means you will be putting in continuous hard work and effort. You will be looking forward to expand at your work front, in your job. You will be shrewd, sharp, clever on those sides. So smart work might be taking more of a priority for you guys, Capricorns, which is an unusual thing. And I'm not saying that you guys are not smart. Please don't misconstrue my statement here. But what I'm trying to say is that usually you go about bringing in that brute force, that effort to bulldoze through your targets and objectives and goals. But Rahu is playing those tricks, especially for people who are working, who are in job, or who are in some sort of a profession. Then you have Jupiter placed in your sixth house. He's in trine with Rahu as well, and he continues in this placement in the sign of Gemini, giving an aspect towards your 10th house, towards your 12th and your second house. So amplification of your wealth. Again, pushing through in your career, job, day-to-day regimen is going to be there, but he's square with a retrograded Saturn. And thereby there are a lot of problems, obstacles, challenges that continue to come in your life. Not one of the most comfortable positions for Jupiter. What a beautiful change coming in for you guys with Jupiter's exaltation from 18th of October. Guys, this is going to be brilliant because Jupiter from here is going to give, yes, a debilitated aspect towards your Lagna. Don't worry, Mars is taking care of it. We'll talk about more in a second. But Jupiter is giving an aspect towards your 11th house and his own house, third house. And this is where all the efforts, be it hard work or strategic movement in terms of your clever ideas, your creativity, is going to result into amplification of your gains. And now Jupiter will also start giving a check on Saturn. So Saturn's retrograded aspect, which is probably not allowing you to push through enough, will now start materializing for you. Now, of course, if you have Saturn retrograded in your natal chart, you will not see much of a difference, but people with a direct Saturn will be able to relate to what I'm trying to call out here. So it's a good amplification of your efforts. In the second half of the month onwards, you will start noticing that you will not be leaving any stone unturned in terms of shaping things for yourself. On the other side of the spectrum, you have Ketu, which is sitting in your 8th house. Now, Ketu's 8th house placement in itself promises growth for people who are in, microbiology, in research, doing PhD programs, doing some sort of occult practices, astrology, tarot card reading for that matter, or some of the other initiatives where you need to go into the root of things. But he is sitting in conjunction with Venus. Venus is your 10th lord, 11 places away from itself, and he is your 5th lord. And that is where I will try and connect the dots of what I was saying a couple of minutes back, that when Saturn is giving a retrograded aspect towards your 5th house, your 5th lord coming into the 8th and becoming conjunct with Ketu is telling that any kind of obnoxious, speculative expectations are going to be detrimental. However, your own hard work, your own effort, in silence, in isolation, doing research about what you can do better and continuously working towards that is still going to deliver great results. and they are going to only get better once Venus comes into its ninth house, albeit in the sign of debilitation, but he's your Yoga Karaka planet, Capricorn. So him coming into the ninth house is a positive movement in my mind. I'm not going to see that negatively. It is going to happen from 8th or 9th of October, and from there he's giving an exalted aspect towards your third house as well. So you see how your third house is now getting activated. This is where your some kind of good events in your neighborhood, doing something in your community, in your society, with your cousins, siblings, family members, all of that is finally falling in place for you folks. Fifth lord is going to be making fifth movement from itself into your ninth house. So it is going to be a superior period for students as well, for your children, for your romantic pursuits as well. And you will see, a dramatic improvement, maybe with your own efforts. There were some certain issues coming in your relationships, but because an exalted aspect of Venus is coming towards your third house, you will make that hard effort from your side to revive things, to mend things in your relationships, which is a very positive sign, guys. Now, whilst all of this is happening, from the start of the month itself, Sun being the eighth lord is placed in your ninth. And for the first couple of days, Mercury is going to be there, but he is going to be transiting very quickly into your 10th house. More on that in a second. But Sun being the eighth lord into the ninth is not a great situation to be in. This is going to be a period where, for people, especially who are working, your bosses, superiors, clients could be trying to overpower you, could be trying to force their authority on you, and may not be a bad idea for you to take a back step for a few weeks. I am just requesting you not to be retaliatory in your communication. Do not get aggressive, because you have a very strong combination of Mercury and Mars coming in your 10th house. But very importantly, you have to understand here that Sun's presence in the ninth house is bang opposite to that retrograded Saturn. So, and Saturn being in its deepest retrogression, it's not one of the best yogas in terms of your efforts getting enough limelight with your superiors or with your clientele. They might feel as if, Capricorn, you are not putting enough from your side. So keep taking that feedback, let that sink in, because you know that as the time progresses, you are going to do much better. Venus's presence there is going to empower you as well. So it's not going to be as terrible as it might sound. This transit will be coming into picture, in the first half of the month itself. But from 16th, 17th of October, Sun is going to leave your ninth house and come into the 10th. What a placement, because now you have multiple planets in your 10th house, and Capricorn, you are going to be back with a bang with your hard work, karma, effort, energy, thought process, focus, all of that falling into place. Albeit Sun is sitting in its sign of debilitation, but the eighth lord getting debilitated in the 10th house is not a bad thing to happen. So I don't mind that. In fact, it is going to be like a positive yoga turning out for you. And then to make things, it's like an icing on the cake, that Sun will be giving an exalted aspect back to your fourth house as well. So there is going to be a definitive uplift in your thinking process, in your mental peace. There could be certain measures that you might make to have some, growth in your knowledge, in your assets, in your movable, immovable properties. Some kind of transformation with respect to your mother's growth could also come into picture. If your mother is working, she might find a promotion coming her way as well. So all those analogies, all those events could get triggered even while Sun is in debilitation. So do not construe this movement of Sun in a negative connotation, because he is going to be gaining that directional strength, and it is a positive movement for you guys, Capricorns. As we look into your Mercury, which is your sixth lord and your ninth lord itself, his placement was great in terms of exaltation in your ninth, but right after the first couple of days, he will be coming into your 10th house and become conjunct with Mars, which is your fourth and your 11th lord. So it's a combination of two key planets, both of them having directional strength from the start of the month itself. So you will be driven, you will be motivated. Yes, at times you will feel uh, like being lazy, being lethargic. But when you are in that mode of an action, you will be consistent. That's the good promise. There will be an energy from a career work profession perspective with certainty. Things will be difficult for homemakers, for students for that matter, but then again, you will find that groove as you continue to move on. Important bit for you to note here is that the ninth lord is coming in the 10th. So this is going to be, and he is the sixth lord as well. So there are definitive signs of promotion, job change, a lot of interview discussions coming into play for you, or you could be making a lot of proactive efforts to find the right opportunities in your life. So Capricorn, there is a brilliant promise coming in terms of growth that you are seeking, and it might materialize in the month of October itself. In fact, all the way till 24th of October is where your ninth and 6th Lord Mars is Mercury is sitting there, and literally move in conjunction with Mars to your 11th house. So not a bad movement happening at all. Throughout the course of October, I see people putting in the right efforts towards their career, be it your job, business, profession, etc., and then seeing some positive outlook in terms of translation that of the same in the last week of October all the way into November. So good bit coming into picture there too. Now, for you, your business, relationships, connections, etc., are getting impacted with the exaltation of Jupiter. He is going to bring a lot of positivity. One of the complaints that I had was by the Capricorns that you always forget to touch upon the relationship and marriage aspect of Capricorn people, and it is because Moon continuously makes movement for you folks. So apologies on that front, Capricorn. I will try and be mindful, but I try to capture that with respect to the aspects coming into picture. And here, Jupiter's aspect is crucial on that front, but at the same time, from an emotional energy perspective, what you will see that Mars and Mercury both are giving an aspect to your fourth house. Mars is in fact looking to its own sign. He is giving an aspect, protective aspect towards your relationships, towards your investment strategies, towards your creativity for that matter, an exalted aspect to your Lagna. So you will be very sharp, brilliant in terms of your thought process whenever you are doing something, when you are engaged in your karma. Like there will be no drop of guards from your side on that front, and I can clearly see that happening. And then in the last part of the month, when both Mars and Mercury are going to be moving into your 11th house, they will be getting this benefic aspect of a very strong Jupiter as well. So you see how things are looking to materialize. This is also going to be a period where Mars will be giving an aspect towards Rahu and your second house. So I definitely see some sort of promotions, some sort of job shift, scaling up in terms of your income, or whatever goals, objectives, desires that you are chasing, sharing that in happiness with your family, having some, ballooning of happiness within the family environment is promised for you, Capricorn. So, a lot of positive triggers happening, especially from that September month situation where we had these two eclipses and so much of a trouble. I mean, I felt too low doing that reading as well. So, you can see the change in tone in me as well here now. Uh, then both of these planets, Mercury and Mars, will be giving an aspect towards your fifth house as well. This is going to be a period from last part of October where you could see financial gains coming in with your investments as well, with your speculative strategies. And when I say speculative, guys, I don't want you to be in a gambling mode for that matter, because Ketu is not going to supporting that, Saturn is not going to be supporting that. But yes, intellect based, strategy based, planning based investments into commodities, into technical areas, technology areas, into any kind of business decisions that you have to take at your work, in your life for that matter. From all those areas, you are going to find a lot of positivity. And plus, to make things again positive icing on the cake here, that Mars will be giving an aspect back into the sign of Gemini in your sixth house. And whatever obstacles, challenges are coming your way with that Shatruhanta Yoga into play, you will be able to overcome that as well. So that's another positive bit which I see happening for you folks. Then, as we move further, I would want to call out that this is also going to be a period where this combination effect of Jupiter's aspect around 25th or till 27th, when both of these planets have moved into the 11th, plus Jupiter's control on Saturn, is going to be giving a definitive indication of you planning some sort of social gatherings, traveling somewhere, some kind of an event happening, sort of a possibility is on the higher side for you folks. There is also a possibility that many of you would have been holding some sort of a key decision in terms of your business, in terms of your career, whatever that is. I recommend you to start materializing that from the second half of the month. Do not wait for anything. Once Sun has transited, Jupiter's transit is going to come into picture. Even though Jupiter is going to move just 2 or 3 degrees into its sign of exaltation through this course, and he's going to be getting a retrograde later and bouncing back into your sixth house, this is a window of opportunity for you to exercise that, especially if you've been waiting on any kind of a job shift sort of a decision. All right. So I hope, guys, this reading, this effort makes sense to you. If it does, then I request you to please smash on that like button, subscribe to Dev Astrology, and keep watching. Om Namah Shivaya. Har Har Mahadev.